What did the weird kid at your school do to be called the weird kid? He carried around a massive tub of Vaseline all the time. Like, not a little 5-ounce thing, but something that you would get in bulk at Costco that took up his entire backpack. The school tried to get him treatment for mental health problems, but his parents refused, and technically he hadn't been caught doing anything that would warrant a CPS investigation. I'm still FB friends with him, and while he's still odd, he's at least getting mental health care and has his own place and a steady job. He was obsessed with mushrooms as a botanist, not for recreational drug use. I think 90% of all conversations with him either started out or were directed towards being about mushrooms. I actually really liked him because he was genuinely nice, if a bit single-minded, and socially awkward and incredibly enthusiastic. Unfortunately at the time I was too physically small to directly do much of anything about the people who bullied him, and the teachers were absolutely useless when I would try to get their help. I hope he's doing well today. Sniffed people and growled like a dog. Generally acted like a dog and such. This was about when furries became a thing, so hindsight 2020 definitely a furry. It was me. During recess some kid came up to me and punched me in the face. I immediately thought don't cry. Weird him out, so he goes away. So I said to him that was fun. Do it again. And he looked at me funny and told all his friends. So from then on I was the weird kid and would sometimes egg it on to see their reaction. It worked out in the end. I was never going to be the popular kid, so I could do whatever I wanted. Acted like the karate kid and shit like that, and had all these weird scars he would show people. He had never taken any form of martial arts. To introduce ourselves we were supposed to answer what superpower do you want and why, and he said time control. Alright cool, but then he began explaining why. With this power I can duck someone and go back in time to get away with it. I, myself, crawled into the classroom on all fours as not to be caught by the teacher for having been absent from the class for 20+ minutes. Only ever shit in a plastic grocery bag and took it home. 2 years he did this. We never found out why. My high school had twins that were considered the weird kids at school. They were very short, super skinny as well as socially awkward. The real kicker was that they dated the same girl. Once one was done with her the other one would date her. They were also very mean even to people who were genuinely trying to be nice to them. I ate Play-Doh. I ate grass. I ate paper, pencils, metal and all. Eraser blocks. Heck, I even tried to eat a marker once. On the first day he smeared his shit on the bathroom walls. PFFF. There was no weird kid at school. Wait. This one's kinda sad, but there was a new girl who transferred to my school in 8th grade. She was a little person who also had tourettes. Her tourettes would cause her to make pig-like noises, pull her hair out, and chew on her lip to the point that there would be a hole in her lip. Luckily people wouldn't really make fun of her, or at least not that I saw. Most people just felt really bad for her and didn't know how to handle it, but she was unfortunately labeled weird due to this. He sold those iron beads out of his black trench coat in various 8-bit video game designs and brought random board games to school in senior year of high school. He hopped and sat like a frog while drawing. We called him Frog Boy. Story time. One day in the cafeteria, this hot Cheeto girl got mad at him for some reason and ripped his doodles. He threw her purse across the room and she went crazy. The school cop pinned her on the table and handcuffed her. She was dragged out and the whole cafeteria started chanting Frog Boy. He was the first and only dude to stand up to that girl. Fun memory. I hope Frog Boy is okay. I bet that memory still makes him smile, no matter how he ended up in life. He would look at photos of girls on his laptop with a weird smile during health class when the teacher talked about reproduction. Told everyone that she was pregnant and then was like, haha, gotcha. I never was pregnant. You are stupid for listening to rumors, as if she was not the person who told the school she was pregnant. In high school he wore a long blue wizard robe to school and carried a staff. It was Civis Day and it was a uniform school so everybody could wear their plain clothes for the day. To be fair, it was a really nice robe. His family were tailors and they did Renaissance fairs. Unfortunately, the kids in our high school did not appreciate the skill. Literally ate fried worms after our class collectively read how to eat fried worms. That was 3rd grade. The weird label stuck with him until we graduated. He left town and never looked back. He had a cut on his arm and he pulled the bandage off and licked it. Proceeded to ask me if I wanted some. And it tasted like strawberry. I was weird, and I knew that was crazy. I wouldn't say he was the weird kid, and more of the kid that was a meme at our school. He had autism and spoke weird, more like a robot. Think of speaking very slow in a kind of whinny voice. He was a very smart kid, so good at math, but he was terrible at English. Why was he considered weird? He would just exercise in the middle of the halls. My guy would just randomly do 25 push-ups and act like nothing happened. When I passed him out in the front of the school, after a minute I turned around and saw him in front of a huge fire he had set, and he was screaming about how he didn't want to go to prison. We had many, but here's one. Always was really quiet and wore a suit to school in elementary. Middle school turned full on emo. In high school got arrested for burning little kids with hot lighters and cigarettes. There was a guy at my high school who wore a 3-piece suit to school every day. I'm not sure if it was the same suit or if he had different suits, but we were like 15, 16. What was he so dressed up for? We called him Suit Guy. There was another guy who for the entire time we went to the same school had a Padorn haircut, like the awful one Anakin had in episode 2. Well, the first cardinal sin he committed was that his parents did not own a television. And this was public knowledge. Poor kid was doomed from the start. When the video from Thriller became all the rage in 3rd grade, he couldn't even begin to understand. He had very thick glasses, messy hair which would be considered a true Harry Potter style these days, picked his nose so much it bled, and ate paper, pencils, anything would. Yes, I know this is a real disorder. His parents were both geniuses and I have no idea where he is, or what he is doing today. Whatever it is, it's got to be much more remunerative than what most of our classmates are up to. This dude would sit in his chair during class like a cat. He came to junior prom in a loincloth and full body paint as a tiger island solo. He was on the water polo team with me, and the one time he got in swam over to a guy on the other team totally away from everything happening in the game, splashing and screaming like something out of a horror flick. I turn around, and the kid comes up out of the water with this awkward look on his face. The poor kid on the other team had bloody, curly skin hanging from his back where the sky cheese grated him with his fingernails for no reason whatsoever. Not sure at all why he attacked. The kid on the other team was tiny. I think he had autism. He was often quiet, but when other kids started to mess with him, he would get furious and start biting and scratching them, causing both to be sent to the principal's office at least once a week. Then one day he took a huge shit on a water fountain at the 2nd floor of the school, and because the stench quickly spread, some classes at the floor were cancelled for the day, including the one I was in, so that was cool. He had 2 sets of clothes he would wear, one set for the winter months and one set for the summer months. I reconnected with him through MySpace several years later, and he had become a sniper for the army. Kid ran at a 90-degree angle. We called him Trex. Yeah, he was weird, but we were mean. I liked dinosaurs and wore slashed shirts. I didn't hurt anyone. I wasn't a creep. I couldn't speak to girls even if I tried. I just didn't like sport and really loved the library. They never let me forget it, and now I'm 32, and I still haven't. She would sit in class and shake her head back and forth to make her ponytail hit her in the sides of the head because it felt good. She would randomly make crazy loud monkey noises. She wore sandals every day, even when it snowed. She hung out with the nurses on a regular basis. She was me. Shout out to all the people scanning the list looking for other people talking about you. Wore a homemade chainmail vest and held a wooden pole around his neck. Shoulders pictured Jesus, but comfortable to carry his books, which were weighted on either side. Kinda awesome. I don't know who the weirdest kid at my high school was, but this one guy wore like one of those Soviet style trench coats and an unhaska hat. I think that's what you call a Russian fluffy hat according to the Googles. He was in my metal shop class in middle school, and he got bullied for having long hair. People probably considered me the weird kid though, because I had obvious anorexia. Some people, including teachers, confronted me about it and offered me food all the time, and I got so uncomfortable. This one guy in my class used to constantly play the spooky scary skeleton song on his phone, which was kinda funny I guess to him at least. Play with gasoline and matches and burned his eyebrows off. The weird kid would always fart in students' backpacks, and they would open it and get a whiff laughing my butt off. 8th grade, he asked out a girl with Down syndrome. She said no, so he hit her in the head with his lunch tray, then ran out of the school. But our vice principal played college football and tackled his ass before he got off school property. If you don't remember a particular weird kid from school, chances are you were the weird kid from school. Sincerely, the weird kid from school. Chase people and spit. Was this kid a llama? He would do anything for money. Once I saw him lick someone's disgusting shoe for €1. One other time he jumped into a dumpster for a 10-cent coin. 1 year in middle school. For April Fool's Day, I wore an outfit made out of shiny silver duct tape, complete with mask and ball cap. Seemed like a good idea at the time, and let me sled without a sled. I was the weird kid. I have super curly hair that I never brushed. My nose bled like daily, and I have this habit where I rub my face when I get excited. I was very quiet. I was always reading or writing. Barely had any friends. Smaller than most kids my age. And I stabbed the hand of a kid that was constantly stealing my pens in class one day with the scissors. Weirdly enough, became best friends with the pen thief. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.